So this week's video is a makeup tutorial inspired by Aoba from Dramatical Murder. Now this is an anime that I've actually never seen before. I had intent to watch it, especially after a good friend of mine on Tumblr requested I do this look. I was like, yes, no, I'll definitely watch it. But I honestly just don't have time to sit down and watch an anime all the way through. That's why I tend to stick to shows like The X-Files lately that is very like episodic rather than I have to sit and pay attention, that sort of thing. I would love to still see it someday, but as of right now, I still haven't seen it. But I figured right now was the best time to upload this kind of look because it is very springy with light blues and light pinks and that sort of thing. I was inspired by, I literally just googled Aoba, and the first picture I saw was just a picture of him standing there, and his outfit and his whole sort of color scheme is very light pink, very light blue, and white. So that's what I kind of tried to use. It made this very springy kind of look, and I know the blue eyeshadow is really in right now, so I figured it was, it works. I tried to use products that are pretty accessible, pretty easy to get no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. The one thing is that one of my eyeshadow palettes is a big matte eyeshadow palette by Crown Brush, and I did buy it off of Hotlook, so it's kind of harder to find, but big bright colored eyeshadow palettes are easier to find than you think. Morphe has a couple, Makeup Geek has a bunch, Elf makes a whole bunch, so just if you are into that kind of color, it's easier to find than you think it is. And the only reason I even used the eyeshadow palette was because I needed a blue for all over my eyelid, and it was the only place in my collection that I had one that I wanted to use. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into this Aoba-inspired springy makeup look. So to start off with, I'm taking my NYX Tinted Brow Mascara, and that's actually the only thing I'm going to be using to fill in my eyebrows today, and I really wanted to show you how I do it. So really, I just take this, I run it all the way through my eyebrows, and then I take another little brow brush, and I brush through my eyebrows just to make sure all the product is even, and it's like, my brows are sitting nicely, and then I take a little bit of makeup remover on a Cotton Swab on only one side of it, and then I wipe around the outside edges to kind of clean everything up, because I'm very messy with my eyebrows, and then I take the dry side, and I just kind of, sop up any of the makeup remover that might be on my face. So that's really how I do my eyebrows. Now we're going to move on to my eyes first. I'm going to be using my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Cottage Cheese. It's this kind of shiny white color. This is the only thing I'm going to be using as an eyeshadow base. If you're worried about covering discoloration or hiding your veins, definitely use something else. But for me, all I wanted was something that was going to really grab a hold of the eyeshadows and maybe give a little bit of a nice sheen. So that's why I chose to use this instead of a base. And then for the eyeshadows, I really wanted things to be very pink and blue. So I'm going to be using this Wet n Wild palette in Poster Child. That's what the palette is called. And first we're going to take this light pink shade. It's the brow bone shade on the pinky side there. I'm going to take it on a decently large fluffy brush, and we're going to take this from our crease almost all the way up to our eyebrows. This shade is very light. It's like really hardly pigmented at all, so this is going to be a really nice base to kind of build up a crease color around, realistically, we're going to lose by the end of it a lot of this pink that's in the crease. It'll be kind of taken over by the blue on our lid, but I mean, I like how it looks. Now with the eyelid shade, which is a little bit of a deeper pink, we're going to take a brush that's kind of denser, and we're going to put that more in our crease area to kind of define that area a little bit more. And then I'm going to go into the darkest pink shade in that palette with a pencil brush. I'm going to be putting that directly in that crease, especially on the outside there. So basically, as the colors got darker, our brushes got thicker and denser. Now we're going to move into this Crown Brush palette that I was talking about before, and that blue shade that was circled there. I'm just going to be patting this all over my eyelid from my lash line to my crease, just to, really blue things up. Realistically, I had a Revlon eye art thing that I wanted to use here instead, but I last minute couldn't find it. So instead we're using this blue, and I think this blue turned out really well. Actually, I really like how it is, but it definitely does take a little bit of building. So I go back into the palette a couple times and really just pat on to build up that color, but I don't get a lot of fallout with these shadows, which is nice and definitely makes life a little bit easier for me, even if it does mean I have to build them a little bit more than I usually would. Then I was feeling like I was losing my crease a little bit, so I went in with that first brush that we used and that light pink, and I just kind of blended everything out so that the blue and the pink were a little more seamless, and then I felt like I had blended a little bit too much of that blue away, so I just went in with a little bit more. Now I'm going to be taking this blue shade from my Essence All About Candies palette, and I'm just going to be dabbing this right on the center of my eyelid just to create a little more depth in that area, like a little bit of a shiny thing that's going to catch the light, just to create a little bit more of like a pretty shiny look. This eyeshadow palette really doesn't have a lot of pigment, it's just for added sheen. Now I'll zoom out, and for my whole face, I'm going to be using this NYC BB cream. I'm really just rubbing it on my face. I really feel like my skin has been looking nice lately, so I'm going to be using this BB cream that doesn't have like any coverage, basically. I'm just rubbing it everywhere, and then on top of that, on any spots that I do have, I'm going to take my Maybelline Better Skin Concealer and just kind of dab it on my zits or my spots, what have you, and then I'm going to dab it in, blend it in with just my finger. I'm not going to bother using anything else. Just easier that way, you know what I mean? I don't have a lot to cover anyway right now, thank the heavens, but yeah, that's just the easiest way to go about it. And then I'm going to be setting all of that BB cream that I just put on really down my T-zone and on the spots that I covered with my Rimmel Stay Matte powder and a big flat kabuki brush. Now for my under eyes, I'm going with my MAC corrector first. This is in the shade Light Peach. I'm going to be dabbing this all around my under eye area and up into that really dark area by my tear duct. If you had noticed before, I didn't put any powder or any BB cream really around here because this is what I want as the base. And on top of that, I'm going to be using my Makeup Forever HD concealer. I have this in the corrector shade, the R20, the lightest corrector shade. I'm just going to be patting this on top. I won't lie to you, I don't love this concealer. I just feel like it's a lot of money for something that doesn't do a whole lot. If I'm going to spend that much money on a concealer, I want something that's a little more coverage than this. But together, these do make a really big difference. If you notice a shadow under my eye still after I've done this, it is just because that is how my eye is shaped. In real life, I had like no under eye circles left. It was really cool, actually. I've never had that before until I started using these products together. But even still, I feel like this concealer is super duper overpriced. So do not recommend unless they lowered their price or something. I'm just going to set all that under eye stuff with the light shade in my Wet n Wild contouring palette here. This is the Dolce de Leche palette, not the caramel toffee one. The yellow shade in the caramel toffee one is too yellow for my pale skin. If you have a deeper skin tone, warmer skin tone than me though, you might love that yellow one. Now for something that I find really fun, I'm going to be using the NYX Vivid Brights eyeliner in Vivid Petal. This is this pink shade. I'm going to be using this as eyeliner. Now, of course, if you don't want to use eyeliner, you don't have to. If you don't want to wing your eyeliner, you don't have to. Do whatever you want. If you'd rather take the eyeshadow more under your eyes and do like more of a halo eye, totally go for it. But I love how wing eyeliner looks on me, and I really don't like how a lot of eyeshadow on the bottom of my eyes looks on me either. So I like to keep things clean on the top and wing eyeliner. That's just a personal preference. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to take a little bit of eyeshadow underneath though. I'm going to take the eyelid mid-tone pink shade from that Wet n Wild Poster Child palette, and I'm going to take that on like an eyeliner brush just under my eyeball, just so everything kind of pulls together. I'm going to curl my eyelashes, and before I put mascara on, I'm going to take this little tiny Marc Jacobs eyeliner that I got as my Sephora birthday gift. You know, like you can pick either the Marc Jacobs set or the Fresh set, so I picked the Marc Jacobs set. I'm just going to be using this to tight line my waterline on top before I put on mascara, because I'm not going to be wearing any black eyeliner, and I'm not going to be putting on any falsies either. I've been trying to get my eyes a break from falsies lately, just because my eyelashes are kind of like not enjoying their life right now, so just a little bit of a break. So we'll go extra mascara and tight line instead of falsies. Now for blush, I'm going to go into my big Forever 21 matte blush palette and this fluorescent cool tone pink in the bottom corner here, and I'm going to very lightly dust this on my cheeks. These blushes, if you buy this Forever 21 blush palette, they are crazy pigmented. It's almost hard to use because it's like impossible to not grab too much, so just be very, very careful. And I'm going to take my MAC eyeshadow in White Frost. This is a favorite little trick of mine. I'm going to be using this to highlight my face. So on my pinky, I take it in my tear duct, and then I take it on my brow bone, and then in a big fluffy brush, I'm actually using it as my cheek highlight too. It's definitely not one of those you can see it from space kind of highlights, but it is, soft, it's subtle, it gives my cheeks like a nice glow, and it looks so healthy and so natural. This is like my favorite thing ever. And I was feeling like my eyelashes weren't voluminous enough, so I figured I would go over top of that CoverGirl mascara with the L'Oreal Voluminous, just to kind of pump them up a little bit, and I really think that helped a lot. That was exactly what my eyelashes needed. Now I'm going to take this Essence white eyeliner, and I'm going to bring that on my lower waterline, because I just really like how white on my lower waterline looks on me, and also because the white eyeliner kind of fits with the whole Aoba color scheme look that we have going on here. White, blue, and pink. We got them all on my eyes now. We're totally done. And now the only thing we have left to do on my face is lips. So I'm going with this Essence lip liner in the shade Satin Mauve. I'm going to be outlining my lips, overlining the top lip a little bit because my top lip is very, very small. And then on top of that, I will be using the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade Tokyo. Somehow it ended up almost the exact same color as my eyeliner, so it all really, really worked together well. I didn't plan it that way, it just worked out that way, I promise. I was just lucky. But I think it really, really turned out nice. I'm really happy with how this look looks. Personally, I think this look is super wearable. Like, I would wear this anywhere, because it's not, you know, I'm wearing blue eyeshadow, but it's not crazy. I think it's very summery, springy, very, like, fresh and dewy, and it's just, I'm really happy with how this look turned out, and I really hope you like it too. And yeah, I really like how this look turned out. Make sure you give it a thumbs up and you subscribe to my channel. If you have any ideas or requests for future videos, whether it be makeup or Sailor Moon or anything ever, please let me know, because I would love to make that for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!